In quiet moments, when he is alone, he imagines what it would be like to speak freely to Sophie, to tell her exactly what he feels without fear or hesitation. He pictures the warmth of her hand in his, the softness of her gaze, and the quiet certainty that they belong to each other. And yet, as much as he longs for this connection, he cannot ignore the pressure that surrounds them, the whispers that could turn admiration into scandal. The cautious glances from relatives and acquaintances, who measure every step. Benedict feels the tension between desire and duty pressing on him like a physical weight. Every decision becomes a battle of heart against expectation, instinct against reason. In moments of solitude, he traces letters that may never be sent, imagining words he wishes he could share, lines that express longing and hope without crossing the boundaries imposed by society. The candlelight flickers across polished tables and walls, shadows stretching and shrinking as if alive, reflecting the turmoil inside him. Every movement, every choice carries potential consequences, and yet the pull toward Sophie is irresistible. A current he cannot fight no matter how carefully he tries. Even in public, his mind drifts to her, to the sound of her laughter, to the determined way she faces the world, to the softness beneath the elegance. It is a tension that he cannot fully name. A mixture of admiration, desire, fear, and hope that courses through his veins with every heartbeat. Outside, the gardens are quiet and still, the mist curling around statues and hedges like secrets waiting to be revealed. Benedict imagines walking through them with Sophie, hand in hand, sharing unspoken thoughts in the silence, knowing that even the smallest gesture could carry meaning. And yet longing for that closeness all the same. He understands that love in this world is never simple, never private, and always bound to the eyes of those who watch and judge. And still, he cannot resist it, with every passing day. The tension grows, the unspoken connection between him and Sophie deepening in ways that are impossible to ignore. Choices loom ahead, decisions that could change everything, yet he feels a sense of inevitability. As if their hearts are quietly moving toward each other, even as society and circumstance threaten to pull them apart. In the quiet moments before dawn, when the estate is still and the city seems to hold its breath, Benedict allows himself to imagine what the future could be. Moments of joy, of longing, of shared strength and courage. He knows that the path forward will not be easy, that the whispers of society will test them, that mistakes could come with harsh consequences. But even with all this uncertainty, the pull of the heart is undeniable, and he senses that the story of him and Sophie is only beginning, that love, in all its complexity, is worth every risk. Every hesitation, every quiet, longing glance that passes between them. The air between Sophie and Benedict is thick with unspoken words, stolen glances, and moments that hang longer than they should. Every time their paths cross in the halls of the Bridgerton estate, it feels as if time slows, the world around them fading into the background, leaving only the pull of their hearts and the weight of what they cannot say. Sophie catches herself noticing Benedict's quiet gestures, how he pauses at a window, as if waiting for someone, the subtle way he tilts his head when he thinks no one is looking, the way his hand brushes against objects absent-mindedly, carrying a nervous energy she finds unexpectedly comforting. Benedict, in turn, notices the smallest details about Sophie, from the determined set of her shoulders to the soft sigh that escapes her when she believes she is alone. Each encounter is a delicate dance, a mixture of longing and restraint, where every word carries hidden meaning and every gesture sparks a tension that neither can fully ignore. Their connection is magnetic yet fragile, like fine porcelain on the edge of a table. The world outside is watching, full of polite whispers, sideways glances, and eager curiosity. Every letter, every social engagement, every masked ball and formal dinner becomes a stage where their emotions must remain hidden, even as their hearts race with the desire to be seen by each other. The nights are long and quiet. And in those rare moments of solitude, both Sophie and Benedict feel the weight of possibilities pressing down on them. They imagine conversations that may never happen, moments of closeness that may never be shared, and the small joys that could be theirs if they dared to step beyond the invisible lines drawn by societe. Why? Yet even with all this caution, the tension is unavoidable. A touch of the hand across a table feels electric. A shared glance across a crowded room speaks volumes. A whispered name lingers in the air, heavy with unspoken meaning. It is a connection. Neither can escape, and both know that every choice will carry consequences. The estate itself seems to respond to this tension, with candle flames flickering as though in anticipation. Shadows stretching and twisting along walls as if echoing their silent struggles. Even in the quiet gardens, the mist curling around statues and pathways seems to reflect the uncertainty that surrounds them, the potential for both joy and heartbreak coiled in every step. Outside the drawing rooms, the city hums with life, a reminder that society watches, that rumors can spread, and that a single misstep could turn admiration into scandal. Yet the heart does not heed these warnings. Sophie and Benedict both feel an invisible thread connecting them, pulling them closer, even as every rule, every expectation, every cautious instinct tells them to step back. Their longing is tempered by fear, but the moments they share, however fleeting, are charged with a promise that neither fully understands but both feel deeply. Every decision becomes a balance between desire and duty, love and propriety, courage and caution. The tension builds in quiet, private moments, the soft rustle of a gown, a hand hovering near another, a letter opened and quickly closed, a note left for the other in secrecy. Even without words, they communicate volumes, their hearts speaking a language the rest of the world cannot hear. In these moments, they begin to realize that their connection is not just fleeting attraction. It is something deeper, something that demands attention, honesty, and bravery. And yet, the stakes are high. Society's gaze is constant, and every choice they make has the potential to ripple outward, affecting not just themselves but their families, their reputations, and the fragile piece of the world around them. Still, the pull between them is undeniable. In the quiet darkness, when the estate is still and the city seems to hold its breath, Sophie and Benedict find themselves drawn together, hearts racing, emotions raw. Longing and restraint intertwined in a delicate, intoxicating tension. It is a connection that cannot be ignored, a story that cannot be paused, a love that will demand courage, honesty, and sacrifice. Theirs is a world of elegance and expectation, yet within it, a spark burns bright, unstoppable, and uncontainable, hinting at the joy, heartbreak, and drama that is only beginning to unfold. Every glance, every moment, every silent acknowledgement pulls them closer, promising that the story of Sophie and Benedict is far from over, and that the coming days will test their hearts in ways they could never imagine. The world around Sophie and Benedict grows heavier with every passing day, the air thick with secrets and the weight of expectations. Every hallway in the Bridgerton estate seems to hum with tension, each room holding whispers that could change everything. Candles flicker as shadows stretch across walls, mirroring the uncertainty that coils in their hearts. Letters, unopened and hastily folded, rest on polished tables, carrying promises, confessions, and warnings that could shatter the delicate balance they have struggled to maintain. Even as Sophie moves gracefully through the rooms, a soft determination in her steps, she feels the invisible eyes of society pressing down, measuring every gesture, every glance. The stakes are higher than ever, and each decision becomes a test of courage, patience, and heart. Benedict, too, feels the tension pressing against him. He walks through the quiet halls with measured steps, his mind racing even as his face remains calm. Each encounter with Sophie leaves him both exhilarated and wary, knowing that one wrong move could unleash rumors and scandal that might follow them for the rest of their lives. The connection between them is undeniable, a thread of longing and understanding that grows stronger even as danger and doubt creep closer. Outside, the estate gardens lie shrouded in mist, the pots twisting like the complexities of their emotions. The world beyond the walls moves with polite civility, but beneath the surface, Currents of jealousy, intrigue, and ambition threaten to sweep them into unforeseen challenges. Balls and gatherings that once promised joy now carry undercurrents of tension. Every smile and bow carefully measured, every word laden with subtle meaning. Sophie and Benedict are caught between what their hearts desire and what society expects. And the closer they grow, the more dangerous it becomes. Even minor interactions can spark misinterpretation, and the line between affection and scandal is thinner than ever. In quiet moments, they steal glimpses of each other. Moments charged with emotion and promise, a brush of fingers across a table, a shared look in a crowded room, the fleeting warmth of a hand almost touching. All these moments ignite feelings that neither can fully control. Yet alongside the longing is a constant awareness of risk. Rumors can spread in an instant. Secrets can be revealed. The city is alive with secrets. Every whispered word, every sideways glance hides a story that could change everything. In the heart of London, the Bridgerton family's world is shifting. And love is about to face its greatest test. Sophie and Benedict are caught in the storm, their hearts drawn together yet pulled apart by duty, expectation, and the shadows of the past. Nothing is certain. Every choice could spark scandal. Every look could start a fire. In this world of elegance and intrigue, love is never simple, and danger hides behind every polite smile. The question lingers, will Sophie and Benedict find their way to each other? Or will society's rules keep them apart forever? London is dressed in elegance and whispers. The streets shimmer with lantern light, and the sound of horse hooves echoes against cobblestones. Inside the grand Bridgerton estate, hallways are lined with portraits of ancestors who watched over generations, silent witnesses to joy and scandal alike. Every window glows softly in the evening, casting long shadows that twist and dance across polished floors. In this world of beauty, manners, and high expectations, appearances matter more than truth, and every action carries weight. Sophie walks through these halls quietly, her mind filled with thoughts she cannot speak aloud. She touches the railings lightly, feeling the smoothness of polished wood, and wonders about the paths that brought her here, about the love that tugs at her heart and the rules that pull her back. Each step feels heavier than the last, burdened with the choices she has already made and the ones she knows she must face soon. Outside, the gardens are shrouded in mist. The flowers droop under the weight of dew, and the paths seem endless and winding, as if the city itself mirrors the twisting uncertainties in Sophie's mind. Somewhere far off, Benedict walks alone. His coat flutters slightly in the cold evening air as he pauses on a balcony, looking out over the streets of London. He wonders about what society expects of him, about the titles and duties that seem to close in on him from every direction. There is charm in his smile, but behind it lies a tension he cannot hide, a longing he cannot fully voice. The air between him and Sophie is full of unspoken words, shared glances, and moments that pass too quickly to grasp, leaving both hearts filled with both hope and fear. Letters lie unopened on tables, their contents heavy with secrets and promises. Candles flicker, casting shadows on walls that hold the weight of countless whispered conversations. A glove lies on the floor, half hidden, a symbol of hurried steps and choices yet to be made. Society moves around them, full of elegant balls, polite conversations, and delicate scandals. Yet beneath the smiles and laughter lies tension, and every glance can carry meaning. Every step can have consequences. The city itself seems to lean in, watching Sophie and Benedict as they navigate a world built on appearances, tradition, and expectation. Behind closed doors, hearts beat faster. Choices weigh heavier, and love becomes both a refuge and a battlefield. It is in these quiet moments, when the world is still and the night feels endless, that Sophie and Benedict must face what they truly want and what they are willing to risk to get it. The candlelight reflects in Sophie's eyes as she stares out at the gardens, her thoughts tangled with both fear and excitement. Somewhere in another room, Benedict pauses, his hand lingering on a ledge as he imagines the possibilities, the joy and heartbreak that may come. London may be elegant, polite, and grand, but it is also unpredictable, full of moments that can change everything in a single instant. In these streets, in these halls, in these shadows, the stage is set for love, conflict, and choices that will ripple through every life connected to the Bridgerton family. Sophie and Benedict are ready, or at least they must be, for the challenges ahead. Each step they take draws them closer to one another and yet further into the web of society's rules. They know that love is never simple here, that even the smallest misstep can turn admiration into scandal, and that courage is needed to follow the heart when every eye in London is watching. The air is thick with expectation, the night full of possibility, and the hearts of Sophie and Benedict beat with a rhythm that promises change, tension, and a story that is only just beginning. Sophie moves through the Bridgerton estate like a quiet storm, graceful but full of unspoken tension. Every step she takes seems measured, almost hesitant, as though she carries the weight of both her own dreams and the expectations of everyone around her. Her hands linger on the banister, fingertips brushing against polished wood as if seeking reassurance from something solid and enduring. Letters lie scattered across a nearby table, their words heavy with secrets, promises, and warnings that make her heart tighten. Outside, the gardens are dimly lit, the soft glow of lanterns reflecting off wet cobblestones. She can feel the chill of the evening in the air, and it matches the unease growing inside her, a mixture of anticipation, fear, and hope. Sophie's mind drifts to Benedict, to his quiet strength, the charm that makes hearts flutter, and the kindness behind his reserved gaze. She wonders if he feels the same tension that coils inside her chest, the same tug of longing mixed with hesitation. The world around her is full of whispers, polite nods, and the occasional scandalous glance. Society watches, waits, and judges, and Sophie feels the invisible chains of expectation pressing down on her shoulders. Every smile she gives is careful, every word chosen with precision. Yet inside, her heart races with the possibility of something real, something forbidden yet irresistible. In the stillness of the estate, Sophie finds brief moments of peace, walking through hallways lined with paintings of ancestors, imagining the stories they would tell if they could speak. She traces the curves of the frames with her fingers, thinking of the love and courage that came before her, the choices that shaped the women and men of the Bridgerton name. These reflections bring both comfort and urgency. Comfort in knowing that love has always survived, and urgency because she cannot wait forever, night after night. She steals moments alone in the gardens or in quiet rooms, listening to the soft creak of the floorboards and the distant echo of carriage wheels. Each sound reminds her of the city outside, the world full of possibilities and dangers alike. Sophie knows that every glance, every gesture carries weight, and that the path she chooses now will ripple through her life and the lives of those she loves. She practices smiles she does not feel, polite nods that hide her true thoughts, and carefully worded letters that reveal just enough without giving away too much. Yet even with all this caution, her heart is unruly, pulling her toward Benedict, toward the connection she cannot fully name or explain. At times, the tension feels almost unbearable, a storm gathering just beyond the horizon. She imagines the conversations yet to come, the choices she must make, and the risks that accompany love in a world so focused on appearances. Even in the quietest moments, she feels the pull of destiny, the invisible threads that tie her to Benedict and to the events that will soon shape the next chapter of their lives. The candlelight flickers in empty rooms, shadows dancing on walls as if echoing her inner conflict. The letters, the gardens, the polished halls all seem alive with anticipation, holding their breath as Sophie considers the next move in a game of hearts and duty. With every careful step, she becomes more certain that love is not just a feeling but a decision, one that requires courage, patience, and a willingness to face consequences. And while society may dictate rules, and while whispers may linger in hallways, Sophie begins to realize that her heart will not be tamed by etiquette or fear. She must act. And the choices she makes now will define not only her future, but the fragile, beautiful bond forming between her and Benedict. With determination rising alongside anxiety, she moves forward, ready to face whatever trials await, knowing that love in the Bridgerton world is never simple, never quiet, and always worth every risk. Benedict moves through the dimly lit corridors of the Bridgerton estate with a quiet intensity, his mind racing even as his steps remain steady and controlled. Each hallway, each room seems to echo with expectations, polite smiles, and unspoken rules, reminding him that the world is always watching, always judging. Yet beneath the calm exterior, his heart beats faster than he lets anyone see. Every glance towards Sophie, every fleeting moment when their paths nearly cross, leaves a spark he cannot ignore. He pauses at a window, the cool night air brushing against his face, and looks out at the city below, the streets glittering with lantern light and the movement of carriages. The world outside is full of possibilities and dangers alike. Just like the life he leads, his thoughts drift to Sophie, to the way her presence fills a room without even trying, to the quiet courage she carries in every gesture. She moves through this world of elegance and expectation with a grace that belies the tension she must feel, and he admires her more than he can say. Yet admiration is tangled with uncertainty. Benedict knows that to act on his feelings is to risk more than embarrassment. It is to challenge the very rules that hold society together. Every polite smile, every word spoken at a ball, every dance and conversation carries a weight he cannot escape. The rules of propriety are clear, but his heart refuses to follow them so neatly.